Hey guys, welcome back to ATO Audio. So last week I released a video showing how to replace the bulbs in this Pioneer SX780 without breaking the little clips. And so I showed my trick to do that by taking off the light diffuser and then popping the bulbs out. So I thought to myself, wouldn't it be nice if we had a new one of those lamp sockets? That way we didn't have to worry about breaking them. So today I'm excited to announce that I've made those new ones. But before we show those guys, let's go back in time to where this all began. What you're about to see is the real life reenactment of a stereo repair here at ATO Audio. Warning, this is not for sensitive viewers, aka snowflakes, not to be confused with cornflakes. All right, well, I guess today I'm gonna work on this Pioneer SX780. Needs some work. I think it needs a FM alignment. So I've got my FM alignment tool here. I guess I can get started. Yeah, that ought to bring it into alignment. Definitely don't need that piece. Let me just hit it, knock it off. You know what? I think if I just replace all the capacitors just without knowing what's wrong with it, I think that'll probably fix it. So let me get my solder gun out here. Well, nope, that didn't fix it either. Guess I'm right back where I started. So, you know what? I need a win. So let me change out the light bulbs in this thing. That way I can say I did something to this unit. Because, you know, that's what everybody on eBay does. They service these and then you find out they just changed like one light bulb. So let me go ahead and try to change out a light bulb on here. I love my wife. I broke the lamp socket. Why? So I tried to warn you guys, that was not for sensitive viewers. But all kidding aside, that's my good hammer. I wouldn't use that one on this radio. I'd only use my crappy hammer. So I'm sure if you own the 80 series, you know exactly what I'm talking about with the frustration when you go to replace one of those light bulbs. And I can tell you more times than not, every single one that I get to restore, there's at least one of those that are broken. And that's actually a good gauge. I can tell whether that stereo has been used a lot originally in the last 40 or 50 years is by the coloration of those light sockets. And so usually if they're really white, that means that radio did not get a lot of use. And it's a good indication that that you can probably take the bulbs out without breaking those. But a lot of times I just go ahead and do that trick that I showed you guys, and that way I can pop the bulbs out without breaking those clips. So as I mentioned before, I've got a new 3D printer, and so I've been trying to print parts and just kind of really become self-reliant on myself to make parts that, you know, are hard to find, that you can't find anymore. And so I went ahead, guys, and after hours and hours of work, I have finally got a final edition of these light socket holders. And so I'm going to bring you guys in closer so you can take a closer look at this. It's exactly pretty much the exact same thing as the original. And so all you have to do is take out these pins and reconnect the wires, and you guys have got lamp sockets that are just like the original. So it brings it back into OEM spec, and you can go ahead and swap your bulbs out without having to worry about these things breaking. So I'm gonna bring you guys in closer so you can get a better look, and I can show you guys how we're gonna take the pins out. All right, guys, so here we have the three pieces here. And so this is the old piece. This is what it looks like without the pins in it. And so this is a brand new piece. And then here's another one with the pins already in it, just so you guys can see the proof of concept, it does work. And so what we gotta do, guys, in order to make this work is take these pins out and install them into the new light box. And so to do that, you'll see on the back here, there's these holes on either end. And so we're going to have to take a small screwdriver and depress a pin in there, which will allow us to slide these metal pins out. And so you'll just stick it in that hole and then kind of pry up on it. And you're going to just bend that pin forward. Once you do that, it should slide right out. And so, as you can see, that one slides right out. And then we do the exact same thing for the opposite side. And so sometimes it takes a little fidgeting to get it just right into the hole here, but just play with it and take a quick look and you'll see where that pin is. And then once you feel it release, it should slide out. And so once we get both of those out, we can just toss that because that one's broken, it's garbage. And then we can just slide this back in. But before we slide these in, guys, look here on the back side of it and you'll see that little thing that we depressed. We actually want to pull that back out now so that when we slide it into the new light box, it actually latches in there. So we're just going to use a screwdriver and just kind of
pry it out. That way it'll latch back in without stabbing myself in the finger here. Now once we do that, there's a little lip here that you'll be able to see, and that'll just align. We'll slide those in, and it'll just click in. And so you're probably too faint to hear, but that one just locked in. And we'll do the same thing with the other side. And once we do that, if we push up on the bottoms, you'll see that they don't come out. So that means they're locked in. Now all we have to do is put this into the unit and reattach the wires. So one thing to reattach the wires, I recommend using a wire wrap tool, and you can unwrap the wires and then rewrap them if it doesn't break on you, or you can solder the points on there. And so I was really surprised when I took these apart, guys, and I started designing it, of how complex this light box was. And so I'm going to post a little video here of just a 3D CAD work to show you guys what that kind of looked like. So here's a quick look, guys, of the 3D CAD model that I have for this. And so as you can tell, there's a lot of intricate pieces on this model. And so when I said it took several hours to get this right, I wasn't lying. It took a lot of time. It's crazy how much engineering and thought went into making this little light lamp socket for the 80 series. But as you can see there, it's pretty complicated. So I'm glad it works, and I'm glad it'll hopefully help some people in the future. So as you guys can see from that 3D CAD work, it's pretty complex, and it took, like I said, it took several hours to make these things, and had a couple different additions, remakes, to make sure that everything worked just fine. So let me go ahead and pan out, guys, and get you back to the receiver so we can go ahead and put this in. You guys can see what it looks like when it's in the receiver.
All right, guys, here we are back at the bench, and this is that Pioneer SX780 that we had on the bench just a second ago. And so all we have to do now, guys, to replace this is just swap it out. And so this one just will come right out because it's broken, surprise. And so we can just take that bulb out, and then we can put the new one in place. And so the new one just snaps in just like the old one does. And so since it's brand new, the plastic is malleable, and so it'll bend very easily, and it just goes right in, just like that. And so we just put our bulb right back in, and now we have it just like it did when it came from the manufacturer. And so the only thing would be left to do, guys, is just reattach our wires, and this thing's ready to rock and roll, and it'll be good for years to come. So like I said, make sure we're using LED bulbs. One of the things you can do, guys, to get the wires off is use a unwrap tool. And so this is the one that I have, and I really like it. I got this off of Amazon, but I'm working on a deal, hopefully, to where I can get a large amount of these and sell them at a good rate on my website as well. So that's something I'm working on, so stay tuned to that. And then you can just unwrap the wires that are on here, guys, and just swap them out. And so super easy, and it adds value to your stereo as well. So I might be changing this up a little bit because some of the LEDs are taller, and so I might make this part customizable to where it'll accommodate the larger bulbs as well. So I hope you guys like this content. I really spent a lot of time designing this. Like I said, it took hours and hours to actually design this. It's kind of hard to believe that so much thought went into such a small piece of plastic, but it did. And you don't really get to appreciate it until you're trying to replicate it. And so this, I think having a 3D printer is really going to be a benefit to my restoration process, because now I can, the parts that you just can't find or that are hard to come by, I can just spend the time designing them and remanufacture them on a 3D printer. And it's actually really amazing. It's a really good feeling to make something from scratch, print it out. You can prototype it. You know, like I said, I did about 4 or 5 prototypes of this one to dial it in to make it just right. But there's a whole bunch of plastic parts in these machines, guys, that over time they get brittle and break. And so I'm pretty excited about being able to maybe replicate some of those parts and then put them up for sale on my website and help other people that may need those same parts. And so there's a lot of 80 series units out there. This is which have these sockets broken in them. So I know this can help a lot of people. So if that's something that interests you guys and you're one of those proud owners of a 780, a 880 or 980 or 1980, you know, and you have one of these units that has that broken part in it, you guys can go to atoaudio.com and I'll have them for sale there. So if you guys have any questions, or if there's parts, guys, for your stereos that you can't find a part to or something, and you need the customization to build it, you know, that might be something I'd be interested in doing. And so I'm going to be trying to build parts as I go through my restoration processes. And as I build them and I know they can help other people, I'll put them for sale on my website. So if you guys have questions about that, or you have comments or suggestions of parts that I should think about replicating, put them in the comments section below. I'll be glad to take a look at those. And then if it's a part I don't have and you guys want to send a part to me so I can use it as my template, that'd be awesome too. So I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with in the comment section. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.